Why Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings is the myth your soul's been starving for. You don't just love The Lord of the Rings because it's fantasy. You love it because something in you remembers it, not the plot, not the battles, but something older, deeper. The moment Frodo offers the ring and Galadriel whispers, "I pass the test. I will diminish and go into the west and remain Galadriel." That moment hits you and you don't fully know why. But what Tolkien buried in that line about power, temptation, and surrender, that's the myth your soul's been waiting for. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why. Part 1. The shadow isn't out there, it's inside you. Middle-earth isn't an escape. It's a mirror, a map of your inner war. You are Frodo, bearing something no one else can carry. You are Boromir, pulled between what's noble and what's easy. You are Eowyn, burning to be seen, but afraid that what you truly are won't be enough. And that's the brilliance of Tolkien's world. It doesn't ask you to pretend. It invites you to remember. See, Tolkien didn't invent this story. He uncovered it beneath the layers of Anglo-Saxon poetry and Norse myth, beneath the fog of war and industrial collapse. He found a spiritual truth older than any religion. That power corrupts, that mercy saves, and that hope, even foolish hope, is the one thing evil can never understand. Part 2. Power wants you alone. There's a reason the One Ring makes you invisible. It doesn't just hide you from the world, it separates you from it. That's how evil works. Not in explosions, but in whispers. Use this, just this once. You're the only one who can fix it. Do it your way. No one else matters. And slowly, without noticing, you disappear. Tolkien understood that darkness doesn't shout. It seduces. Even the best people fall. Boromir, noble and brave, wanted to save his city. But he thought the answer was power. And power in Tolkien's world always comes with a price. Because the ring doesn't destroy you all at once. It turns you inward, and then you forget who you are. Part 3. The real battle is always moral. Tolkien gives you the truth. Most stories are too scared to say, winning isn't the point, becoming is. Frodo fails. He keeps the ring, he claims it, he loses the fight at the very end, and yet, it's Frodo's earlier mercy, his pity for Gollum, that saves the world. That's not just clever writing. That's theology. That's Tolkien telling you, you will fail. But if you have loved, if you have shown mercy, if you have clung to good when it cost you, then even your failure can be redeemed. This is what he meant by a eucatastrophe, a sudden grace that no one deserves, but that restores everything. This is why The Lord of the Rings isn't a fantasy. It's a myth of salvation. Part 4. You were made to choose. Here's what separates Tolkien's world from modern cynicism. Freedom matters. Every person in Middle-earth is free to fall or rise. The flame imperishable, Ilúvatar's great gift, is the power of choice. And what you do with it matters eternally. Galadriel could have ruled the world. Faramir could have taken the ring. Gandalf could have used his power to dominate, not serve. They all chose restraint. Because in Tolkien's world, real power is not in control, it's in letting go. And that's your calling too. Not to conquer, not to dominate, but to be a steward, to be a guide, to choose humility over pride, even when it hurts, especially then. Part 5. The Gift of Mercy. Think back to Bilbo in The Hobbit. He has the chance to kill Gollum. He's invisible. Gollum is helpless. But Bilbo sees something in him, a flicker of what once was. And instead of taking the easy path, he chooses mercy. That one act, that one moment of pity, changes everything. Because Frodo will spare Gollum too. And though it seems like a mistake, it becomes the hinge of history. Tolkien believed in mercy over justice, not because it's safe, but because it's divine. As Gandalf says, even the very wise cannot see all ends. That includes you. You don't always know what your mercy will do. But in a world that profits from punishment, your compassion is rebellion. Part 6. The War Between Kings and Gardeners. Theoden rides to battle and dies in glory. But Faramir becomes a gardener. Éowyn puts down the sword. Frodo fades into the west. Because Tolkien's heroes don't conquer the world, they restore it. This is the masculine ideal Tolkien offers. Not domination, but stewardship. Not kingship for power's sake, but kingship to serve. To be a man in Tolkien's world is to be tender and brave. To lead with love. To kill only when there is no other way. And even then, with sorrow. That's a message your generation, raised on toxic masculinity and soft nihilism, desperately needs. You were never meant to be a conqueror. You were meant to be a healer of broken lands. Part 7. Evil cannot create, only corrupt. Sauron doesn't build anything new. He twists what's already there. He turns elves into orcs, men into wraiths, strength into tyranny. That's how evil always works. It offers shortcuts. It mocks beauty. It promises order, but delivers hollow control. And you know that feeling. You've seen it in bureaucracies, in relationships, in yourself. The world tells you to be efficient, effective, powerful. But Tolkien dares you to be good, even when no one sees, even when it doesn't win. Because in the end, evil always forgets something. It doesn't understand joy. It doesn't understand love. It cannot comprehend why Sam would keep going when there's no hope left. That's its fatal flaw. And that's your secret strength. Part 8. Grace belongs to the weak. Let's talk about Frodo, the quietest one, the smallest, the most broken. He doesn't lead an army. He doesn't even succeed in destroying the ring. But he carries it every day, every mile, until he collapses at the edge of the fire. He doesn't win, but he endures. And Tolkien honors that. He tells you, even your failure is not final. Because grace doesn't belong to the perfect. It belongs to the exhausted, the wounded, the ones who show up anyway. That's you. You who have been quietly holding back the dark. You who wake up every day and carry burdens no one sees. You are not weak. You are Frodo on the mountain. And you are not alone. Part 9. Fool's hope is the only kind that works. You've heard it 1,000 times. There never was much hope, just a fool's hope. And maybe that line haunts you, because hope feels foolish now. The world is burning. Institutions are crumbling. Everyone seems tired and numb. But Tolkien believed in that kind of hope. Not because it's rational, but because it's sacred. Because when Pippin lights the beacons, when Sam lifts Frodo, when Aragorn charges into certain death, they're not betting on victory. They're choosing to believe that goodness still matters. Hope in Tolkien's world is not a prediction. It's a position. It's saying, even if I lose, I will not become like them. That's the hope we need now. Not because it will save the world, but because it will save you. Part 10. The myth that reminds you who you are. Why does The Lord of the Rings still move you? Because it doesn't just tell a story. It reminds you of something you've forgotten, that you were born into a world at war, that your choices matter, that power is dangerous, that love is stronger, and that in the end, evil will fall, because it always forgets about the smallest light in the deepest dark. You've always known the rules were broken. You just didn't have the words. Now you do. Ending. Your quiet reflection. Maybe that's why Tolkien made sure Frodo couldn't stay. Because carrying a burden like that changes you. You don't come back the same. And neither will you. Not after grief. Not after surviving things others didn't even see. But that doesn't mean your story ends here. It means your myth is just beginning. You were never here to win. You were here to stay true, and as long as you do, hope survives. Don't subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to Your Becoming, because you're not here to consume stories. You're here to live one.